This is supplemental engineering services, not to exceed $55,000, and then the resolution has an amount of $70,000. Can you explain that discrepancy, 55, 70?
I haven't seen the resolution itself, but I believe the initial award to Brightview originally was $70,000. We're adding another $55,000. So a total of $125,000. Correct.
Thanks for clarifying that. Can you tell me, is this related to the Sedan Street and Lee Avenue work that this company was hired to do?
A very small portion of that is related to it. This is mostly Brightview's been assisting us with the stormwater regulations that the state is imposing that are changing every single year. In fact, before the end of the year, we'll see another flood control ordinance come before this council, which is required by the DEP. So the lion's share of the funding is for their assistance with us with stormwater regulations.
Okay, thanks. And then I want to ask about the final two resolutions. 518 is left turn prohibition at Joyce Kilmer and Handy. Maybe Mr. Valenti can speak again and explain what's prompting this, and does it have anything to do with the fire headquarters having to build a temporary structure in the middle of the intersection?
Sure it does. Council President, the prohibition is 100% related to the temporary fire structure. We want the queue to clear on Handy Street at a light signal cycle. People making a left from Joyce Kilmer onto Handy would delay that queue, clearing the queue of traffic. So we're just allowing straight only at that point.
Thank you. And then the final one is a resolution where this was added at the last minute for you to give your blessing to a development project that I think many of us are hearing about for the first time. This would be, according to the resolution, a 335-unit apartment building with 8,000 square feet of retail and 335-space parking garage. This would be, I believe, at Hamilton and Hardenberg. Can you tell me a little bit about this and why you've added this to your agenda to endorse it?
I have, President. I believe that somebody from the developer should be here.
Yeah, Mr. Marshall is here from the developer representative. I would advise that this is a resolution to support their application for expired tax credits, similar to what we've done in the past with other projects. The details of the project, I understand Mr. Holton stand up and be able to answer the specific questions.
What is the specific question?
Why should the City Council endorse your project?
So the planning board already made a recommendation to the City Council to create an area in need of redevelopment, which the City Council has already approved. And these are the 8 parcels within that area, that specific area in need of redevelopment. So we're merely asking for the council to issue a resolution of support to the EDA so that we can pursue the tax credits that would help finance the project.
Okay, and why would the project be good for New Brunswick? What's in it for New Brunswick?
Additional housing to go with the Helix projects and everything else that's going to be done to create more jobs. So more housing. 67 of the 335 units will be affordable, and they will follow the guidelines of the city and county for the division between very low and moderate income.
And it sounds like a lot of the details haven't been figured out. Can you tell me how many stories the building would be?
16, but it's not a story-driven issue. It's a 180-foot cap on height.
Got it. And any timeline on when it might appear before the planning board for a site plan review, or maybe the housing authority if you're going as a redevelopment project?
Middle of next year. Housing authority application is in for a designation of redeveloper status, which allows us to then pursue our site plan application.
Okay, and just last question, if you could just tell me a little bit about the company, MSB Easton Hamilton LLC, and who's involved in that, how'd they come to decide they want to do this?
It's an assemblage of different developers. Me and my partner, Ivan Barron, came out of a resident property company back in the day, and we created a company that's now partnered with the company that had the parcels under contract, and we merged our expertise and our experience to present the project to the city and hopefully get it approved.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Thank you. Anyone else on the resolution? Seeing none? Move the resolution.
Councilmember Estamos. Councilmember
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin. Council Vice President Castaneda. Council President Anderson.
Yeah. We also have items for discussion by council. First of all, let me congratulate Councilor Gaskin on being honored by the Scouts of America. Congratulations. Any other member wish to say?
I just want to say, Mr. President, we're going to check the microphone, okay?
Needs better audio.
Okay.
Public comment, and just a reminder to, spread the word to incur tax application, property tax relief. Applications due at the end of the month. Renters qualify, homeowners qualify, seniors qualify, seniors qualify. Literally a lot of people qualify, so there's money from $450 to $6,000. So just please spread the word, apply. It's called the Anchor Program. It's readily accessible, so please apply.
Are you applied last year? Have you got it last year?
This doesn't a common form of this information. So if you receive a benefit confirmation letter in the mail, you do not have to apply. The state has applied for you. If you have not received a letter in the mail, you need to apply. I know there's a lot of misinformation, so please, if you did not receive that letter, you have to apply.
And that's that's the anchor, or you might have gotten the GSA1 that combines 3, especially for seniors. So you might want to look into that, because you do have until the end of the month to file that. Okay. We're now going to open up the floor to the public for public comments. Again, you have up to 3 minutes. You give your name and address for the council.
Eric Spear, Jamesburg. Last meeting, I asked the council if they would look into increasing the police department's involvement with the Arrive Together program, and the council vice president said he would speak to the police about it and report back at this meeting.
Okay.
What I stated was that I looked into it, but I think that there's, it's still pending, and the Arrive program, my understanding is not completely funded, but
We're looking into that, the program has been.
right.
Yeah, Nick, would you have anything?
Council President, I don't know the exact timeline for you, but we have been participating with the Arrive program for some time.
Okay, so maybe this question is directed to you. How much funding do you get either from the Office of the Attorney General directly or through the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office indirectly for them applying for that?
Thanks for the question. I'm absolutely not prepared to answer that. I don't know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next. Yes.
Hola, buenas tardes. My name is Amanda Dominguez. I was here 2 weeks ago. I sent everybody an email 2 weeks ago about the Immigrant Trust Act resolution and hopefully getting that passed here in New Brunswick. I was at the last city council meeting, and I also sent you all an email last week. Unfortunately, I haven't heard back from anybody. I left my personal email address and phone number and asked Amanda Diaz to pass it to all of you lovely folks as well as to the mayor, but I have not heard your thoughts on the Immigrant Trust Act resolution here in New Brunswick. I have not heard from the mayor either. This is an urgent issue for us as New Brunswick residents, right? I went to the Edison City Council meeting and I spoke there, and they voted immediately and passed it. Immediately. I was shocked, right? Here in New Brunswick, I expected for us to be able basically to do the same. Sorry if I didn't introduce myself and I came up properly. I'm Amanda Dominguez. I live in Rutgers Village. I'm a PhD student here at Rutgers University, and I'm a community organizer with New Labor. I have 3 children in New Brunswick Public Schools. I was born and raised here, born at St. Peter's Hospital. I'm a lifelong resident, and I don't plan on going anywhere. I love our community, and I want to continue to have it protected. We have about a 65% Hispanohablante population here in New Brunswick. People are nervous. I don't know if you know, but this morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, we had someone picked up by ICE, abducted off of Hamilton Street. And if you didn't know, last week we had a father of 3, who was also a soccer coach here in New Brunswick, taken by ICE as well. The community is scared. And it would be really great if we had our city officials be able to stand up and say, hey, we stand in solidarity with you. We know you're afraid, but we back you. We're with you. We understand the contributions that you bring to this wonderful city, and we want to be there to support you. I think it's a no-brainer. And I know some folks have said, well, if we pass such a resolution, is that putting a target on our backs? They're already here. They're already picking folks up today at 7 o'clock in the morning. We're already a target. We're a blue state. We're a blue city. We're already a target, right? But now it's about standing with folks. And the Immigrant Trust Act resolution here in New Brunswick, if passed, would be able to give us more support to get this passed statewide. We have already areas like Edison who've done that, and other townships. The more townships we get to pass that, the more power we have to get this passed at the state level. We need to get this passed at the state level. We do not know what this governor race is going to bring. We do not know what the next 3 years are going to bring. And, you know, city residents deserve to feel safe in their own cities and feel like the mayor and the council members and everybody is on their side, no matter if they're Hispanohablantes, from the immigrant community, people of color, or quien sea, right, or whoever. They should be able to feel safe and protected. And right now, I think everyone's just kind of looking to you guys about like what's going on. Was the conversation started after we left, or was it forgotten about? Because we didn't forget. We didn't forget because every day they're here taking new people. The children are scared. My son is asking different people that he runs into if they have papers or not because he's afraid that they're going to be taken away. My son is 6. But he understands the reality. He's seen it. He's seen it on the news. He's heard about it from his friends, right? He's very nervous. And people are not going to events here in New Brunswick. I went to Mercado Esperanza, the last one we had. It was a very low attendance. I go every year, multiple times a year, because Mercado Esperanza has a lot of events, and I love those events. There was not many folks. There were no lines, there were no people to get through, because people are afraid to leave their homes. People are afraid to go to the hospitals, they're afraid to go to the clinics, they're afraid to go to different classes that the community offers, and we have so many great community programs, and people are absolutely terrified. I think this would be a wonderful step forward for the city of New Brunswick to show their solidarity with folks, and to say that we stand with you, especialmente durante este mes de Hispanidad, right? Especially during how we're still in between, right, Hispanic Heritage Month here. This would be a wonderful thing for us to do. And so I want to know where we're at on this right now. It was discussed. It's not on the agenda.
It has been discussed. There are many, including myself, that are behind this act. However, I have a problem with taking care of the Assembly and Senate and telling them what to do. But I know other council members, and I know the city of New Brunswick is doing a lot of the things that's in that act already. We're trying to, we don't take care of ICE. You know, they do their own thing, unfortunately. But I do know that some of our council members, they want to talk about it.
I was just saying that it's very good. The council as a whole, by that, put forth this resolution. I wanted to be on record that I do support. And I think it's important for our community, like you said. Even if it's symbolic, you know, just as a community showing solidarity to this issue is important to me. So I just wanted to just say that.
Yeah, and I'll second what the councilwoman said. I feel the same way. And I will go on record as fully supporting this resolution. And at least understanding that I work with the immigrant community here in New Brunswick, and I am the son of immigrants. And so I completely understand the importance of the immigrant population feeling as safe as possible, understanding that we don't have any power over the federal government. But I do understand in that sense of unity the importance of something like this. So on record, I also support the resolution.
So I apologize. I thought I sent you an email. Maybe I have the wrong email. I had Amanda@deliver.org.
Yeah, I think that's all.
I would love to your attention. So I actually have a different this resolution in particular because I have a conflict of interest. I work for the Immigrant Center who wrote the first iteration of this bill called the Values Act. The Values Act was turned to the Immigrant Trust Act. He is the author of the bill. The legislative code ethics requires that I maintain and avoid any action that creates conflict of interest between my Senate work and my responsibilities in the council. And clear in these terms, that means that as a council person, I cannot vote for a resolution that is going to go before the Senate because I sit in the room to talk about it. So I can talk about it in my Senate capacity. I can't talk about it on my council meeting. I can't talk about it guys. But if you want an opportunity to talk separate from this room, then I can actually accept that. I'm happy to talk to you now.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I want to say I'm in support of it also. We know it's a growing immigrant population in Brunswick, as well as my work ethic, we have a growing immigrant population. And we had that training because we have a lot of our kids, a lot of our students and stuff, they're really scared to stay home from school. So we've had to have that training, had to talk to them, what's going on with their families and things like that. I'm in support of it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Troy Shouty. I'm not a New Brunswick resident. I was born here though, technically. I come from South River, which is, a hop and a skip away. And I just wanted a second notion for the support of a passing of a resolution in support of the Immigrant Trust Act, right? I'm not obviously here to spread fear, but I did read an alarming headline last week, which of course may not be entirely true, but it's not been confirmed yet, about 1,200 detainees just completely missing from a detention center in Florida, right? And of course, the question that immediately comes up is, why would you bring up something happening in Florida when we're here in the middle of New Jersey? But the fact of the matter is that people that are being taken by ICE are being relocated all across the country without any accountability, any records, or any communication to the family members. I've heard accounts of people who's had their family members with critical conditions or needing medical attention completely and silently relocated to a different part of the country. No communication, right, with the families. No information. They're completely operating in the dark here about one of their loved ones, right? And I would just like to just reiterate and repeat that this resolution is critical. This is a critical time. This is an unprecedented, scary time. I'm not going to mince my words here. And it's really, this Trust Act is really just about building up trust, right? It's not a particularly radical or controversial piece of legislation. It's not completely forbidding the federal agents from being able to enter our state or what have you. What it does is it gives us it lets the state leverage its own powers against ICE and be able to say, no, you can't just simply have information on somebody because they're trying to access critical services that they need to live a normal life, right? It's not a very particularly drastic piece of law, right? So I feel like, once again, it's a no-brainer to pass a resolution in favor of this Trust Act, and it matters more than just simply getting it passed already. It also shows the people of New Brunswick that you guys are willing to stand with them and be able to support a piece of legislation that the federal government may disagree and criticize, right? And it's in the name. It's the Trust Act, right? And I would love for the people of New Brunswick to have trust in their representatives to basically say you're allowed to access these services without fear of being taken away by some federal agent and disappear into some facility. And that'll be it. Thank you. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Eloína Martínez, yo vivo aquí en Brunswick desde 1986 y yo no estaba viviendo lo que ahora estamos viviendo.
Hello, my name is Eloina. I'm a resident of New Brunswick since 1986, since 1986, and I've lived here a long time, and I have not lived the way I'm living right now. It's a big change.
Lo que ahora estamos viviendo, lo que los inmigrantes estamos viviendo ahora es algo cruel.
What immigrants are living through right now is something that is very cruel.
La comunidad está con miedo. Yo he visto niños llorando que no quieren ir a la escuela por miedo.
The community is in fear. I've seen children crying because they don't want to go to school because of the fear they are feeling.
Tienen miedo de al regreso no encontrar a sus padres.
They're afraid that they're going to come home to have no parents.
He oído de niños que sus notas estaban aquí, ahora están aquí, porque el miedo los aterroriza.
I've heard about children who've had their grades up here that are now down here because the fear is terrorizing them.
Realmente necesitamos una resolución para esto que la comunidad está viviendo.
Really, we need a resolution to address what the community is honestly living through.
Porque el que seamos emigrantes no quiere decir que no somos humanos.
And to say that we are immigrants does not mean that we are not human beings.
Yo quiero que por favor se pongan la mano en el corazón y den una resolución a todo lo que nosotros estamos viviendo.
I really would love for you to put a hand onto your heart and give a resolution for what we are going through.
Porque todos tenemos hijos, tenemos nietos de padres emigrantes. Y quiero que eso entiendan, que eso necesitamos que den una resolución a esto, porque realmente lo que estamos viviendo es algo inhumano.
We have children, we have grandparents, we have immigrant parents, and what we are going through, we honestly need a resolution for what we are all suffering through.
Yo les pido por favor que nos ayuden a resolver esto para que nuestros niños ya no estén viviendo esta angustia, este temor de que cuando regresan a casa ya no estén sus padres en casa.
I'm asking you to help us pass this resolution so that our children will not continue to live in this fear, thinking that their parents will not be in their home when they come back from school.
Hay personas que están con cáncer, hay personas que están sufriendo dolor y no tienen miedo de ir a los hospitales por temor a que migración los lleve.
There are people here who have cancer, who are sick, who are afraid to go to hospitals because they're afraid that immigration could take them away.
O ya no los están queriendo atender, ya se regresan con dolor. Hay muchas personas que ya no quieren ir a hacer compras por miedo, ya no quieren ir a las Londres a lavar por miedo. Lo que se está viviendo ahora es algo aterrorizante. Necesitamos resolución para este problema que está viviendo la comunidad de New Brunswick.
People do not want to go to the stores. People do not want to go to the laundromats. They are living in such fear. It is terrorizing. We are living in a moment of terror. We need to try to resolve this terror with a resolution passed here in New Brunswick.
Por favor, necesitamos ayuda, necesitamos que nos ayuden a dar una resolución a este problema. Se los vamos a agradecer y muchas gracias.
We need a resolution for this. We ask you for your help in this. We would be very thankful for your support. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tony Faber. I live in Scotch Plains. I am a Rutgers graduate, class of '92. I'm also here to talk about the Immigrant Trust Act. Our country and our communities stand on the brink of danger. We actually do know what will happen in the fall if Jack Citarelli is elected. He has said he will have ICE working hand in hand with local law enforcement. That means the police of New Brunswick detaining people for ICE if he has his way in November. Given the disaster that would be for this community and other communities across New Brunswick in terms of what kind of trust could any of the community have in the police, who would come to the police to have a crime solved if the police could disappear one out of the city? Besides the disaster that would be for all of our different communities, it's important to look at what we can actually do. And this is one very simple, yes, symbolic resolution. I know towns across New Jersey have been passing these, and I've been in a lot of towns and town council meetings, and towns pass resolutions in support of legislation all the time. So something's not adding up. the council seems very sympathetic to the plight of people here, but in a moment of greatest need, passing a simple resolution seems very difficult for you. I invite you to do whatever it takes to look beyond whatever principles you have about how resolutions work or what it would take, and do what you can to stand with our community and help build the momentum to have this pushed through the Assembly and the Senate. Thank you very much.
My name is Ellen Witt. I'm with DIRE, Deportation and Immigration Response Equipo. I was here last time to support the Immigrant Trust Act and the resolution from you all, as well as your public support of the resolution to push it through. I just want to point out, I mean, we serve people from all over New Jersey, but we especially serve a lot of people right here in New Brunswick. Many immigrants call us because we're serving people who have family members who are detained, who have legal issues with immigration, who are left with no means to pay their rent or support themselves because someone has been detained who's a breadwinner. So let's face it, this legislation, this round, has been in the committee since September 2024. It's been in there for a year. In fact, it was the earlier version as well. And it has not moved. And it's not because there's not a lot of support in the legislature or because there's not support among communities. We have to face that the Democratic Party leadership in Trenton, namely Coughlin and Scutari, have refused to let the committees hear the legislation and discuss it. And even if they want, make some amendments if they have some issue with some piece of it. But they won't even allow it to be discussed. And I realize that you may feel that you have to defer to that leadership or that you're scared about your future political life if you say a public stand on something that they haven't been prepared to let committees discuss. But we really need this discussed. And it takes leaders from communities to actually remind them that the communities are desperate for this to get moving. And right now, it's not on a course to get passed, even in a lame duck session, unless something starts to move. And I don't think the resolution is really symbolic. It's making a public statement from this city. And that puts pressure on the Democratic Party leadership. I can't imagine, what it is you think would put pressure on them to make them move, to make them do something. It's embarrassing. You've got a New Jersey where so many immigrants live and so many have been picked up. And all of us know that we're no longer living in a world of business as usual. We're living in Trump's world, and Trump's world is one that plans massive, massive deportations. And in order to actually carry that out, it requires, it's not optional, it requires massive collaboration with the police, the jails, the agencies, with ICE to do that. It requires it. And so we actually need to protect and take steps to prevent that kind of collaboration from being able to happen in the future. We can't just put our heads in the sand and say, oh, I'm scared of Trump, so let's not take a public position on this. Because he's going to come get us no matter what we do. So we might as well just suck it up now and take a really strong position. I'm very, very concerned that things, I don't know, whoever gets elected, I'm not sure there's any guarantees right now, unless people really make their voices heard that they don't want this kind of collaboration, that we want an Immigrant Trust Act. I'm not sure what will happen. And it's really astonishing that this community, which has one of the highest percentages of immigrants, including a very high percentage of undocumented immigrants, has not publicly taken a position on this. So I urge you to please reconsider
Not simply saying we can't do it because of Coughlin, we can't do it because it's only, it's not important because it's only some kind of symbolic measure. But instead say, hey, I want to represent my community who's asking for this. All right, thank you very much.
I can assure you that there is nobody on this council that is scared of anybody. We do things because we do what's right. Again, our police don't involve ICE at all. If you're going to take a resolution, I ask some of my council people to see Mr. Shanley about that, putting a resolution on there or whatever. But again, we believe in what you're saying. We understand it. We back you. Our police back you. Everybody backs you. It's a matter of whether or not the resolution will do any good. So if you really think it's going to be that way, I ask some of my council people to see Mr. Shanley for a resolution.
Council President, on that note, Mr. Shanley, I think, I really think this is important for our community, and I've said it before, and I know you're not going to be the person that he said, but with my respect to the Council President and the rest of the Council, but I would like to propose a motion to have this resolution.
Whatever the council's pleasure is the council's pleasure. I will tell you right now, I'm not prepared to read the resolution. I will have the resolution prepared. I wasn't instructed to generalize it or prepare it.
I'm ready to say a motion to have a resolution ready for the next,
And I'll second it.
So what you're proposing is a motion by the council to have a resolution agendized for your next meeting.
absolutely.
Okay, that's fine. If the motion is carried, and I would be so instructed, then there will be a motion, there will be a resolution on your next meeting agenda, and then that motion at that time will be subject to a vote of the council.
Thank you again.
But you need to take the formal motion, Council President.
Okay.
Motion by Councilman Escobar, second by
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
I stated before, I unfortunately have to abstain because office is sponsored. It would be teaching that at the whole committee, my city council position, to influence any democracy.
Duly noted. Council Vice President Castañeda.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes, and I want to assure you again, until such time as that takes effect, somewhere down the line or something, and hopefully it doesn't, that our police do not work with ICE. We do not share data, anything like that or anything like that. So please get the word out there that we are not with them, whether this resolution goes or not. We don't do that kind of stuff. Not for our people here in Brunswick or anywhere. So hopefully the voters will also vote correctly and we'll get that done. All right? Next person.
Please. Good evening, everybody. My name is Carlos, and so happy to hear what you guys are doing. And I see some of you in the community coming to our restaurants, taking pictures, and I know some of you are really community advocates. And that's the same reason why I get so frustrated hearing a lot of you saying these 4 people supporting this, and I think our 7 council members, so that's already more than half, right? So in a pragmatic way, this should have been passed a long time ago. I don't know what the dragging is, and if you're really an advocate for the community, especially if you're an immigrant or son of immigrants, this should have been passed months ago, right? So if you feel that you want to use your privilege, that you don't want to make the Senate or the state uncomfortable if you're going to tell them what to do, I tell you not, don't use that privilege, because while you use that privilege for not wanting to affect the state affairs, our communities are being separated. Parents, children, right? They're being kidnapped and snatched off the streets, right? So I ask you, some of you, not all of you, to get off your ivory towers and really, really think about this. Community members are asking you to represent them, right? They may not vote on city council votes or get you on your position, right? But they're making New Brunswick richer every day with their labor. So at least recognize their dignity. Don't just take advantage of their labor, right? So I'm so happy to hear that you're gonna put this in the agenda for next time. And because there's at least 4 people that said that support, there's 3 other people to see where they stand, right? This should be passed. It shouldn't be a big deal. You have all these witnesses, tonight, seeing that you guys are gonna pass this. Can we work on this?
That's what we
That's what we did.
That's what we just
All right.
said.
And Mr. Anderson, it's not too big of a problem. Just pass it, right? Just pass it. Look, you're the president, right? You have a leadership. You have all the 3 other people supporting this. It shouldn't be, too much of a difficulty. And with that, I got 2 more minutes. I don't know what else to say. Truthfully and honestly, listen. This is going to take a village. More than city council, school boards, community members, community organizations. Another advice that I gave you is sit with community organizations that are on the ground every day. Some of us are in the Ley de Confianza Immigration Detention Center in North every weekend. Talking, helping families are going to see their loved one being detained for months, right? I think some of you will change your mind if you go there once in a while in North, the Ley de Confianza, and you come back here and pass this and many other things, initiatives that will help or protect immigrant communities here in New Brunswick. Go ahead, you want to say something?
I was going to say that I know there's people here. We get a lot of people outside of here who sometimes are afraid to come to these meetings and give an opposite point of view. We have people who want resolutions for a lot of things, so we have to take that into consideration also. But again, we back that, we understand it all, we are doing everything that we can to not share data, not share the police with ICE, all that kind of stuff. So please get the word out there.
Can you also commit to sit with the different organizations in the community that are doing the work on the ground? To ask them what's needed. Have you asked